sports, the Baltimore Orioles, the Tampa Bay Rays, and you know what happened last year. The Rays AL East champions, and there goes the 2010 banner. Second American League East championship in the last 3 years. It will join the banners from 2008. And the Rays were not only AL East champions, but the American League champions. This franchise has come a long way from 10 years without more than 70 wins. And now, for the second time in 3 years, in arguably the toughest division in baseball, the Rays have been crowned champions. When we come back, it's time to defend the crown. The Rays and the Orioles kicking off the 2011 season next. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson.
We welcome you to opening night 2011. It will be a full house at Tropicana Field. The Rays led by the familiar face of Evan Longoria and two familiar faces in Rays uniforms for the first time, Johnny Damon, Manny Ramirez with David Price on the hill. Welcome to the opening weekend of a brand new season, 2011. Tropicana Field will be rocking tonight as the Rays open the season against the Baltimore Orioles. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Stats. We'll be hearing from Todd Callis throughout the evening as well. Well, it's finally here, and the Rays have a roster filled with brand new faces, but it's a confident group.
You know what's exciting, Dwayne? Despite all of those new faces, the goals and expectations for this team remain the same. Battle all year long in the always tough American League East and be playing baseball come October. I mean, let the games begin.
Yeah, and David Price on the mound tonight says he wants to be the best pitcher in baseball. He's got the opening night assignment, and despite the butterflies, he's confident.
First start, you're going to have some nerves built up, and it just so happens that I'm going to be throwing opening day. So there's going to be a little bit of added extra adrenaline, stuff like that. You got to be able to make sure you can just contain it and go out there and try and give our team, solid 6, 7, 8, 9 innings.
David is really, there's no telling what he's going to do. He's so driven. He's so driven, and he cares so much, and he accepts responsibilities well. He shoulders them without any complaints. So he's all of that, and I know he's ready and looking forward and ready for this opening day assignment.
We're just moments away from the first pitch. We've had the meeting at home plate. There's a look at David Price just down to the Rays dugout from the bullpen. Price, a 19-game winner last year. He went 19-6 for the Rays. He had a good spring. Won a couple decisions in 6 outings there, and he faces the Baltimore Orioles, a team against whom he has had very good success in his young career.
Yeah, yes, he has. And David Price, the key early in the game tonight, manage your emotions. I mean, this is opening day. This is his first opening day start. So there's going to be a lot of adrenaline. He's going to have to manage that. And usually after the first couple pitches of a ball game, you settle down, and there you are. It's just another game, but that will be key.
Let's take a look at the Baltimore starting lineup facing David Price tonight. Brian Roberts, a familiar face atop the Orioles lineup. He'll be at second, followed by Nick Markakis. Some newcomers in this Baltimore lineup. Derek Lee hitting third, and the DH is Vladimir Guerrero over from Texas. Adam Jones at center. Luke Scott, last year's Baltimore MVP, in left. Mark Reynolds, a new face in an Oriole uniform, at third. Matt Wieters will catch, and J.J. Hardy comes over to play shortstop, another newcomer.
And here he is, left-hander David Price, making his first ever opening day start. You see the numbers from last season, 19-6 record, 2.72 earned run average, second the American League Cy Young voting. And Dwayne, you said he had success against this team. He's had 5 career starts. The Rays have won all 5. He himself is 4-0 with a 1.95 ERA against this franchise. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay defense as it lines up behind David, left to right in the outfield. Johnny Damon, B.J. Upton, and Matt Joyce. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Reed Brignac, Ben Zobrist, and Dan Johnson. John Jaso gets the call behind the plate. Tonight's defense brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarket, home of the sweet spot.
And there's Joe Madden, the Rays skipper. His 6th year as the manager of the Rays, in the middle year of a 3-year deal here. And he will tell you in his own parlance, you saw the defense. He digs defense. And that's going to be a crucial part of the Rays story this year. How good, how steady can the defense be? And there's Buck Showalter. Well, what a turnaround the Orioles made last year when Showalter took over. They had won just 32 games until he took over, and the remainder of the season, from August 3rd to the end of the regular season, they were 34-23.
That was the 3rd best record in all of Major League Baseball in that time frame.
As you would expect, a lot of energy here at Tropicana Field for opening night. Roberts stepping into the batter's box, and we are set to play baseball. Opening day in the new year is finally here, and the pitch is a fastball up and away, ball 1. We are underway. Roberts last year limited to just a partial season because of a number of injuries. And boy, that pitch is right by him. Another fastball, 1-1.
Good jump on that fastball by David Price, and the swing there by Brian Roberts, pulling out of there with the front hip. He was looking to drive that ball.
Did he go? Boy, that pitch up a bit. He appeared to go. They're going to get some help. And down at first, Wally Bell says no. Well, that was close.
A fastball here riding up and over the plate. Brian Roberts, you see the side swing here. Boy, it looked like he did go.
He pops it up right side. Johnson digging hard in foul territory in front of the dugout. Dan Johnson records the first out. Roberts on a foul pop to the Rays first baseman.
You see Dan Johnson coming over here trying to navigate where the dugout is. Makes a nice catch. Big out for David Price. You always want to get the first out of an inning, but especially with a guy like Brian Roberts who likes to try to cause havoc out on the base paths. And with this new retooled Baltimore lineup, a lot of sluggers through the middle of this lineup, you want to keep him off base.
Markakis coming off a season in which he just missed, hitting 300 and 297. And there's a strike. One ball, one strike. One of the things Price is cognizant of now. He'd like to limit his pitch count as much as he can to pitch as deep into games as he can. 2-1.
That will be important for all of the Rays starters to go in with that mindset of pitching deep into ball games to take some of the pressure off of that retooled bullpen.
Lifted into left. Damon is there. Johnny makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down to start this game. Well, a couple hitters in just to get your feet under you here.
Yeah.
And now Derek Lee. He brought over to supply some pop from first base. 25 years old. That pitch got in on him. Fouls it back. Strike one. He split last year between the Cubs and the Braves over in the National League. It's away. 1-1.
One of the big offensive additions for this Baltimore ball club. Career 312 homers. He's just 2 seasons removed. 2009. It's a guy knocked out 35 home runs and drove in 111.
This one knocked down by Zobrist in his throw to first. Derek Lee out of there, second to first, and 1-2-3 go. The Orioles. Rays coming in to hit. No score. And the Rays lineup will feature Ben Zobrist at the top. He's playing second tonight, sitting in front of Johnny Damon, and then Evan Longoria. Manny Ramirez is the DH hitting cleanup in front of Dan Johnson. Then comes B.J. Upton, Matt Joyce, Reed Brindyak, and then John Jaso rounds it out. Rays face right-hander Jeremy Guthrie. First pitch is tapped to first, and an easy play for Derek Lee. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Jeremy Guthrie, you see what he did last year. 32 starts, 11-14. Good ERA, 3.83. He did have 4 starts against the Rays in 2010, splitting those 2-2 with a 2.73 earned run average.
Here's Johnny Damon. The pitch is a strike. Johnny, 37 years old, out of Orlando, and he has added some energy to this club. This is his 17th major league season. A little pop to shallow left for Luke Scott. 2 up and 2 down.
Now let's take a look at the Oriole defense as it lines up tonight, left to right in the outfield. Luke Scott, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis across the infield, third to first. Mark Reynolds, J.J. Hardy, Brian Roberts, and Derek Lee. Matt Wieters behind the plate. Tonight's defense brought to you by Sweet Bay, home of the sweet spot.
Now Evan Longoria. First pitch, Evan takes that one for a strike.
I'll tell you what you see in the early going with these 2 pitchers is attack, attack, attack.
Liner into left. That ball's going to be hit directly to Luke Scott. And the Rays are up and down 1, 2, 3. On to the second. No score. Brought to you by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. By AT&T. And by Toyota. Moving forward. Opening weekend. And David Price back to the hill to face Vladimir Guerrero, Adam Jones, and Luke Scott. Guerrero had a very good year with the Texas Rangers last season. That ball right by him. Boy, Price starts this game very quick.
Well, we've seen that from both pitchers. They're working quickly, good rhythm, and attacking the strike zone.
Right back through the middle and a base hit into center. Guerrero, a born hitter, and he shot that one right back over the mound.
He got a fastball down in the zone, and hit that ball well. Vladimir Guerrero, tough to pitch against. And David, get that leg out of the way.
Yeah, that was the most important thing about that play.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to end up on first base regardless. You don't want to see a ball off the shin, no meat there for protection. Not be good.
So runner at first, the first base runner is Guerrero. Adam Jones swings late at the fastball, mid-90s. Strike one.
I think the hitters are starting to pick up on the game plans of these pitchers already. Going to be around the strike zone, especially with first pitch fastballs. Hitters are going to start to get very aggressive.
Nothing in two. It's fouled out of play. Jones hit 19 home runs last year. 2 of 11 lifetime against the Rays lefty David Price. Late again. He's out on strikes. Boy, that had a little something extra on it and was up.
That was a double whammy. He had just gotten fastball down in the zone for strike 2. All of a sudden climbs it middle of the plate, chest high. Adam Jones, he sees that ball. It looks big, but it's got the extra hop on it, and he cannot catch up.
First strikeout for David Price, and here is Luke Scott.
That was a really nice job of David Price of using the up fastball with the down. He started him up, went down, and then finished him up.
And a strike ball right there. The Orioles have some power up and down this lineup. They have a lot of strikeouts and double play possibilities and a lot of home runs in this lineup. 1-1, not a lot of speed, but a lot of power.
I think that's why it's so important as far as the Oriole lineup goes. Brian Roberts staying healthy at the top of that lineup, trying to swipe some bags, distract some pitchers, because you're right, Dwayne, they're lead-footed.
1-2. Well, you see all those fastballs, and then you see that, and you go, well, I'm going to take that one. It's a strike, a breaking ball.
Well, David obviously wanted to establish that fastball early in the game, and that wasn't even a very good slider right there, but because of all the fastballs, he's able to get away with it. A little bit of a hanger, but puts him in a nice count here at 1-2.
Foul back. Holds the count at a ball, 2 strikes.
It comes back with another fastball that was elevated, and here in this 1-2 count, he's got confident that he can get that slider, make the adjustment on it, and get it down in the zone. This is a perfect opportunity to throw that, start it just above the knees on the outer third, run it off the plate, get Luke Scott to chase.
And he's out on strikes. How about that one? That breaking pitch. So he's out on strikes for the second consecutive strikeout. Don't miss another minute of the action only at the ballpark. You can get the best seats, biggest savings, and all the fantastic benefits by becoming a Rays season ticket holder. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com right now. You might be having fun watching this game at home. It's even better right here at Tropicana Field. Mark Reynolds. Pitch is upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, 6 consecutive first pitch strikes until that pitch up to Mark Reynolds. And look at those numbers. A lot of strikeouts. Struggles to hit for an average, but he has power. 1-1.
That's why right there, you know, up in the count 1-0, he sees the fastball. He pulls off this pitch, the front hip gone. That ball a little bit elevated and away from him, and it missed off the end of the bat. Mark Reynolds has one thing in mind at the plate, and that is to crush balls, try to hit home runs.
And another one. We're just playing old country hardball here.
This is
a couple of pitches at 98, Brian.
This is backyard baseball. We know what he's trying to do. Another high fastball up and away, the same spot, the same swing. Mark Reynolds, 3 straight seasons of over 200 strikeouts per.
Oh, strike 3 call. Well, he strikes out the side after giving up the leadoff single. Guerrero single, and then Price got Jones on the 98 fastball up. He got Scott on the breaker, and Reynolds looking at this fastball. In the second inning after giving up that leadoff single, and here's Manny Ramirez making his Rays debut. He takes a look at a slider there for a strike. Manny followed by Dan Johnson and B.J. Upton. Manny's old ball club, the Boston Red Sox, trailing the Texas Rangers 9-5 in the top of the 9th at Arlington. One and one to count to Manny. Tap foul. Well, some impressive career numbers. 14th all time on the home run list with 555. World Series MVP in 04. 2,573 hits. It's inside.
Curt Schilling said that he was the best right-handed hitter that he ever played with.
And that's sometimes lost in all of the clutter of Manny being Manny. He's not only a power guy throughout his career, he's been a good hitter.
Well, you can only get the moniker Manny being Manny. That only a phrase like that can get attached to a guy who knows what he's doing. And you're right, Manny Ramirez, tremendous power, but a very good hitter. Studier, very good study of pitchers, tendencies, very simple mechanics.
It's a little wide, so the count is full. Manny lifetime against Guthrie is a .357 hitter, and one of those home runs against Guthrie. Full count. Down to short. That's Hardy. One away. Dan Johnson, the Rays' first baseman, will bat. Opening day is always special. Here's Johnson, 31 years old, with Oakland considered a power hitting prospect, but things never really fell into place the way he had hoped. Of course, he hit that great home run for the Rays off Jonathan Papelbon. Then went to Japan and then back to the Rays, and here he is, an opening day assignment at first base, hitting fifth behind Manny Ramirez.
Perseverance. Comes back to the Rays last year, goes to Durham and goes off. 30 home runs, hits over 300, gets called to the big league squad, and then with the departure of Carlos Pena, he's the guy that's going to get the opportunity to go over there at first base, have a season full of at-bats, and try to produce.
Oh, there's a drive. High, deep back into right. Marquez to the track, and it's going to be over his head. Off the wall, and Johnson's in at second with the two-base hit. Well, he made a bid for one right there in the right center field. Off the wall, over the head of the Oriole right fielder, Nick Marquez.
Well, Dan Johnson here getting a pitch, supposed to be in, tracks back out across the plate. That's the checkers double of the game. And Nick Marquez, who did not run hard all the way back to the wall, he tried to time that up, time the jump, and the ball got over his glove and off that wall, and Dan Johnson goes into second base with a double here in the bottom of the second.
Well, the Orioles got the game's first hit. The Rays have the first scoring opportunity of the game. Here's B.J. Upton. BJ pulls off the pitch, a slider, strike one. One thing about BJ this spring, Brian, he did not strike out a lot, and that was a great sign. He got a lot of hits the other way.
Now he's tried to work real hard with Derek Shelton to simplify his mechanics at the plate.
But Guthrie stays with that slider to get strike two.
Well, and that's smart pitching by Jeremy Guthrie. He's got a runner in scoring position, opening day, B.J. Upton's first at bat. He knows that he's going to be aggressive, going to try to drive him in, get that plate that first run for the Rays. So he's thrown him two very good sliders, and B.J. over the top of both of them. And B.J. mechanically, his feet are spread a little bit wider than they were last year, trying to cut down on the amount of movement. And his mechanics, you see how wide those legs are.
Blocked by Wieters, shifting out there. It's 1-2. We talked about on one of our spring telecasts, Upton did spend a little time with Rod Carew in the offseason, and I just don't think there's a better guy to talk hitting with than Rod Carew.
Yeah, I got to play with the California Angels then back in the early 90s. Rod Carew was our hitting coach.
Strike three call on a fastball.
Now you bait him with the slider. You get him thinking about the breaking ball, especially with the two strikes, and then boom, surprise him with the fastball. Well, that's a pitch that B.J. wishes he could have pulled the trigger on, at least tried to foul it off. You don't like to see those fastballs catch a lot of plate for called third strikes.
Here's Matt Joyce. Matt's had a little success against Guthrie. He's 4 out of 12 against him, and misses that one.
Now
front,
taking advantage of the hitter's aggressiveness, trying to drive that run in. Good changeup there by Jeremy Guthrie.
Foul back. Yeah, this is a nice sequence of pitches here from Guthrie to get ahead of Upton to begin with on that slider, and then 1-2, get him looking on the fastball, and now he's ahead of Joyce. 0-2.
Well, these hitters, this is their first at bat of the season, so they're just getting into the flow of the game now, anxious to try to drive a run in. And the mix has been outstanding.
A ball, 2 strikes.
Even that right there, you'd like to see Rays pitchers, anybody, kids out there, if you're watching, you get ahead of a guy 0-2 like that. Nice fastball up and in. You saw Matt Joyce peeling away from that. That allows Jeremy Guthrie now really to go to any pitch in his repertoire to try to finish Matt Joyce.
It's low. 2-2. Johnson off second. Picking up the first Rays hit of the year. Joyce on the fastball extends the at bat with that foul ball. Guthrie last year was 11-14, but he finished strong. He had a good second half. So he's the opening night pitcher here for Baltimore. Side of first, foul beyond the coaching box and toward the new look bullpen for the Rays.
He really picked his game up after Buck Showalter arrived the very beginning of August, going into.
Yeah, the whole team did.
Well, they really
pretty
did.
amazing.
I mean, if you see the difference in the numbers, they are quite astounding in a 2-month span. What he was able to do.
They pitch
with
better.
The same
they
players.
hit better. Yep.
Significantly better.
Little roller out to second. Roberts has this one with a toss to Derek Lee at first, and the Rays leave a man at second. Through 2, no score.
Third inning scoreless so far between the Rays and the Orioles. Time now to check in with our Auto-Way text poll question of the evening. Our first one of the year involves the Rays season. What are your expectations this year? You can text TB1 if you think the Rays will repeat as American League East champions. TB2 if they're going to win the wild card. TB3 finish above 500 but miss the playoffs. TB4 finish below 500. Text those votes to 789-789. Standard message and data rates apply. Guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Matt Wieters leads it off. Batting from the right side against David Price. Price throws another strike. It's what, 7 out of 8 first pitch strikes for David Price.
Recipe for success.
1-1. The Rangers have beaten the Red Sox. Texas jumped on Daniel Bard in the 8th inning of that game for 4 to break a 5-5 tie. And the Rangers defeat the Red Sox 9-5. 1-2.
A nice curveball there by David Price, a pitch that he started to throw last year with great success. It gave him depth on that breaking ball, change of speed to go with the big fastball, the slider, and the changeup. And that was really a pitch for him too that was born out of necessity. David Price's slider last year, not nearly the way he wanted it. It was a pitch that didn't have a lot of depth to it, so he turned to the curveball to be able to get that depth. Boy, it didn't take long for him to have a very good one.
And he strikes out Wieters. There's that curveball. 4 consecutive strikeouts now for David Price. Be sure and make the most of your free time with TampaBay.com/things to do. Whether you're looking for children's activities, restaurant deals, insider tips, and more, you'll find it all at TampaBay.com/things to do, powered by the St. Petersburg Times. J.J. Hardy, 1-0. Hardy comes to the Orioles with some power credentials over in the National League, and he shoots this one deep to right. Joyce is going to have to go back to the wall, off the wall. Upton will play the carom, and Hardy has himself a double, and there's some of that opposite field power off the bat of the Baltimore shortstop.
J.J. Hardy hitting 9th in this Baltimore lineup. Sees how David Price is attacking all these hitters. A lot of fastballs early in the count, a lot of them away. He goes right after it, holds his hands low, got a pitch he could handle, gets the backspin on it, almost gets it out of here.
Well, Hardy, in his time with Milwaukee, had a couple of years of 26 and 24 home runs. The pickoff play, and it's thrown into center field. Upton with a pickup. He's going to make a play at third, and in there safely is Hardy. So before a pitch is made to Roberts, Hardy winds up at third.
Well, it looked like the timing of that pickoff was a little bit off. David Price with the spin and the throw right over the bag. You see right here, Brignac jumping in. There's the throw, and he just gets blocked out by Brian Roberts. He would have had to catch that ball between his legs and not able to come up with it.
Now Roberts batting with a man at third. Pitch inside.
And that was not the daylight play where Reed Brignac is going to break behind the runner, and David Price is going to see that and spin. That was called from the bench. David Price looking at home plate, waiting for the sign from the catcher. And that's what caused him to turn and throw, but the timing was just off. And Reed got blocked out.
1-1. Good, healthy fastball right there. You talk about being firm.
Yes.
Wow. 1-2.
Right on the inside corner. Second time through the lineup.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
And that's the one good thing about a pitcher like David Price that has that kind of plus stuff. You can get a runner on third base here with less than 2 outs. Right now he's thinking go for the punch out. With his stuff he can get it.
Wide with the hard stuff. And a full count. The first full count Price has had tonight.
And Brian Roberts has a good eye at the plate. David Price, after getting up in the count 1-2, takes a shot with 2 fastballs, just missing off the corner.
Rays left a man at second in the bottom of the second. Now the Orioles got the double from Hardy and the move to third on Price's error. 3-2 to Roberts. He got it. Roberts out on strikes. He came back with the breaker.
How about that? You talk about the maturation of a pitcher. 2 fastballs to run the count 3-2. He's got 98 in his back pocket. What does he go with? He goes with the curveball at 79. Swing right over the top of it. There's nothing you can do about that. That ball started out middle of the plate, just above the knees. Brian Roberts forced to swing. Too much break.
Now here's Nick Markakis coming up. Markakis hit a fly ball to left his first time, and he's had a little success against Price, and he's had success against left-handed pitchers. So a very tough out to get. 1 ball, no strikes.
I think that's why you saw in his first at bat David Price early in the count going with the slider. Not just going to lay a fastball in there for him.
take the count to a ball and a strike. Rays and the Orioles opening the new season. This one shot into left center for a base hit. Cut off by B.J. Upton. And the Orioles take the lead as Markakis lines the RBI single the other way. 1-0 Baltimore. He continues to have success against left-handed pitching.
Now that breaking ball by David Price, not in the spot that he wanted it. Kind of hung out there over the plate just a little bit. Stayed elevated. Nick Markakis does a nice job of keeping his head down on the ball. Good stroke.
And now Derek Lee lifts the first pitch foul. That's out of play for a strike.
That's what makes Nick Markakis so successful against lefties, is he stays in, keeps that front shoulder buried on the left-hander. A lot of lefties want to pull off a little bit. He stays in there nice, and when he gets a hanger, he's able to shoot it the other way.
Well, he hit over 360. I'm just checking that. He had 361 off left-handed pitching last year.
It's pretty astounding, especially in this day and age where, and everybody that is a fan of the Rays understands the whole platoon situation. But Nick Markakis, one of those guys that you can run out there against anybody. And
1-1 the count. Lee the hitter. Markakis at first. Well, the Orioles had some hitters who swung the bat pretty well this spring, and Markakis was one of them. Broken bat ground ball for Brignac. He'll get to force with a toss to Zobrist. 1 run, a couple hits. We go to the Rays half the third. 1-0 Baltimore. Down by a run, moving into the home half of the third. It's the place to be this weekend. Rays and the Orioles again tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. And here is Reed Brignac. Reed taking over at shortstop. He swung the bat well this spring. There's a strike.
And the key with Reed Brignac, in layman's terms, stay away from that big uppercut swing that he has a tendency to bring out every now and then. When he stays down and through the baseball, he can be a dangerous hitter. When he starts to pull out that front shoulder and start to lift, get that uppercut swing, he becomes a hitter that has a lot of holes.
Yeah, the first part of last year, really the first half, he worked right down through the ball and was a very good hitter, and then we saw some of that uppercut sneak into his approach in the second half. And he's out on strikes here on an off-speed pitch. Second strikeout for Guthrie. In tonight's game, and all season long for that matter, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports and Fox Sports Florida. And here's Jason. John takes a strike. Fastball then for strike 2, and Jason's quickly down on the count. 0-2. This one sliced toward the gap, but it's going to come back to Scott, and he makes the catch. Left-handed hitter with that back slice. 2 gone. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. We welcome and salute you all. Thank you for your service. And Zobrist takes a pitch wide. 1-0. Ben jumped on the first pitch his first time up and hit a ground ball to first. 1-1.
Oh, I love this new camera angle here, directly behind the mound, right out over home plate. You saw that last fastball by Guthrie. John Hirschbeck, known as a pitcher's umpire.
Ball, 2 strikes, and boy, Guthrie's using that change of speed here in this inning.
Yeah, and that changeup right there wasn't particularly in a good spot, but the arm speed is what fooled Ben Zobrist. He really selling it with that arm speed. Looks just like a fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's what makes that pitch so dangerous, because if you throw it with good arm speed, you can sometimes leave it in a bad location, still get away with it. Boy, if you combine it with the good location, the good arm speed, it's unhittable.
And a strikeout. 2 strikeouts in the inning, and both came on the changeup. 1-0 Baltimore. Home furnishings with lease purchase programs for up to 6 months, same as cash on furniture, TVs, appliances, and more. By Checkers, feast on. By Tires Plus, thinking tires, think Tires Plus. And by your local Southern Ford dealers. Vladimir Guerrero leads it off. He singled his first time. 1-0 the count. And a big cut at the fastball. He took a fastball up the middle for his base hit. That was in the second inning.
Vladimir Guerrero does not get cheated. You saw the big swing right there at the fastball. Another thing that makes him dangerous is there's really not a safe place to pitch him. He hits the ball everywhere, below the zone, above the zone, in off the plate.
Well, he's number one, he's so tall and lanky, and number two, you can't throw the ball too high and you can't throw the ball too low. He'll hit the ball right off the plate.
Uber aggressive up there. And he's a tough guy to pitch to because, you know, a lot of times you have a game plan going in on every hitter. This guy looks to pull early, so I'm going to try to get ahead of him away and then close him out on something that's close to him. Vladimir Guerrero, you just try to change your patterns, hope he hits it at somebody.
This one lifted into center off a breaking ball, and Guerrero is the first out. David Price, 25 years old, making his first career opening day start here tonight. Here's Adam Jones. A strike.
Adam Jones has to be saying to himself, this isn't fair. I mean, David Price worked him over in the first at bat with 3 straight fastballs and starts him out there with a curve.
Lifted toward the line and right. That's a fair ball as it turns out, and Joyce made the catch just inside the line. Two outs with the bases empty. Well, here we are in the fourth time for our AT&T trivia question. Who hit the first grand slam in Tropicana Field history? Test the memory banks there on that one. Here's the clue. There is a reason that would be the question in this game. Scott, strike one. You know, here's Scott, his first time up. He saw a couple of fastballs at 98, struck out on a breaking ball. So you see all that your first time around. What do you think of the second time up there?
Please make a mistake. And even that may not help me.
Yeah, breaking ball there, and it's 2-1. Pretty good pitch, and Scott checked, knowing that it wasn't going to do anything with it. That's ball 3.
Breaking ball by David Price just off the plate, but a lot of times with John Hirschbeck behind the dish, pitcher will get that.
Back to the fastball, 3-1, and right by him.
Well, that's nice to know when you're in a bad count like 3-1, you can reach back and grab 96 miles an hour. Luke Scott, that ball just beats him up above his bat.
Well, he comes right back to get him with 2 fastballs. 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the fourth coming, 1-0 Baltimore. question looking for the answer. Who hit the first Grand Slam in Tropicana Field history? A couple of reasons for this one. Johnny Damon, who's going to lead off here in the bottom of the fourth in the lineup. And he hit it off a guy who rumors have was a former roommate of Brian Anderson.
Oh, good old Dennis Springer, the knuckleballer. We roomed together down in Venezuela. We stayed at the Analco Hilton in Caracas, Venezuela in 1995. It's like having grandpa around.
Well, he threw about as hard as grandpa with that knuckleball. Yep. Damon hit it with the Kansas City Royals out in front here, and the count is 1-2. That was in May of 1998. Just like it was only yesterday. 2-2. Baltimore scored a run in the third. The Rays left a man at second in the second. That's the only runner they've had. And Damon sends a fly ball to center right to Jones. One out. Now it'll be Evan Longoria.
You saw Jeremy Guthrie right there with a little head shake. And he got the out there on Johnny Damon, not happy with the location. He knows he's got good stuff tonight. For the most part, he's had very good location. He wants to be perfect with every pitch.
And he drops that one in there. A breaking ball for a strike. That's a nice first pitch.
It's low 70s on that curveball. A lot of good spin. Tight.
0-2.
Now how about that? Come right back with a hard slider. You know, curveball strike one, slider outside corner on the black. That's what we were saying. Jeremy Guthrie's been very, very sharp.
And down 0-2. Longoria has to reach for that pitch and grounds out Roberts to lead.
Well, you're just not sure. I mean, a guy spins you a curveball right up there, middle of the plate, then takes a slider right to the black to get ahead. Fastball too close to take, forces a bad swing, an easy out.
Here's Manny Ramirez. Well, Guthrie so far tonight is showing that that second half he had last year perhaps not a fluke when he went 8-4 with a 276 earned run average.
Well, that's the one thing that Buck Showalter will do. And he'll come over and encourage you. Jeremy Guthrie, you have tremendous stuff. Attack the strike zone. And they added pitching coach Mark Connor. He's been with Buck for a long time.
Speaking of a long time, how about Manny? He's got 18 opening day starts going. Ivan Rodriguez with 20 with the Nationals. And then Ramirez, and you saw Johnny Damon on that list. So the Rays here with two of the four leaders when it comes to consecutive opening day starts. 1-2 the count to Manny. And he's out on strikes. A fastball in. 1-2-3 go the Rays. On to the fifth. 1-0 Baltimore. Baltimore. Time to look at the upcoming race schedule, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. It'll be James Shields against Chris Tillman tomorrow. We'll be with you at 6:30 on Sun Sports in high definition. Just as we look forward to the upcoming race schedule, you can live forward with Just for Men Hair Color. Tillman, a change of starting pitchers for the Baltimore Orioles. Brian Mattis, their impressive young left-hander, scratched, had an MRI today. He had a side issue, a lat problem, and so he will not start. And Chris Tillman, another fine young arm out of the Orioles system, will get the start. First pitch to Mark Reynolds is a strike. And James Shields, who threw the ball very well this spring, will start for the Rays tomorrow night.
Well, I'm anxious to see James Shields, because you're right, Dwayne. He had a magnificent spring. And right now, he says mentally he's locked in, obviously, because of the success, and mechanically he feels that he is right on point. Everything is in line, moving towards home plate. And I'll tell you what, you get a pitcher that mentally and mechanically feels like he's locked in with a lot of confidence coming off a disappointing season. I want to see that one. Likely.
2 balls and a strike. Hey, and if you say it, I believe it.
Well, I clicked it at the end, so I believe it.
A little comebacker. Price with the underhanded toss, and Reynolds is retired. 1 away.
Well, Evan Longoria has a couple of Gold Gloves of his own. Now, don't miss your chance to get one tomorrow night when the first 15,000 fans receive this Evan Longoria Gold Glove replica trophy presented by Dex Imaging. Visit RaysBaseball.com to get your tickets now.
I heard Evan say that was sweet.
Well, I'll tell you what, we all can't have Evan Longoria hair, so might as well get the replica Gold Glove trophy.
Yep. You know, that could be a whole other promotion.
Oh, without a doubt.
The Evan Longoria quaff.
Exactly. I think we saw a guy out in the stands. It was blue, but it was close.
1-1. Wieters missed a curveball his first time. One of 6 strikeouts. Hot shot to third, and it comes up on Brignac and skips into center. That ball was sharply hit and had Brignac back really on his heels. It was hit so hard. And Reed's not happy he didn't come up with it, but boy, that is a tough play and will be a base hit.
Yeah, it is a tough play. That ball was scalded right here, hit very hard. I think what Reed Brignac, and this is a tough play, Dwayne, but what he is upset about is that he didn't keep that ball in front of him. You may not come up with it cleanly, but at least if you knock it down, it was hit so hard, he's still got a chance to make a play. But that ball squirted through and got into the outfield.
Yeah, that ball might have gone through him. I mean, this breaking ball is down 1-0. Yeah, that was really hit hard off the bat of Wieters.
And you can see the frustration on his face. Just wanted to be able to knock that down, give himself a chance to make a play.
Pitch down and in to Hardy. Hardy spent last year with the Minnesota Twins. Played in just over 100 games with the Twins. Strike call, 2-1. Spent some time, a couple of times on the DL with a wrist problem last year. He scored the only run of this game, a 1-out double in the third, eventually driven home by Nick Markakis. Runner at first, the Baltimore catcher. And that pitch is down for ball 4. And that's the first walk of the game. Pushes Wieters into second base. And Brian Roberts, the top of the order, will hit with 2 men on base. It's the first time we've had 2 men on base at the same time in this game tonight. These two pitchers have been very, very good. David Price and Jeremy Guthrie. A ball, no strikes. Drops low. 2-0. There's a breakout for Price tonight.
He's been very good with the fastball, aggressive with it. Hit a little bit of a hiccup here the last 4 or 5 pitches. He's tried them all and missed badly with all of them. Change up down in the dirt. Curveball was hanging.
That's foul outside of third. 2-1. Well, all it takes is a ground ball to one of the infielders, and he's right back on track. Hardy first, Wieters second, 1 out, 2-1 to count to Roberts. Roberts this spring had neck problems and some back spasms. And last year, an injury-filled year. With the back injury, had a herniated disc and had an abdominal strain. So he played in just 59 games last year. They need him at the top of the order. He can be a very good on-base guy.
Yeah, they need him to stay healthy all season long. Anytime you're dealing with back injuries, that's a tough one in a game with so much rotation and torque.
Count still 2-2.
Something you got to continually keep up on, strengthen, and try to make it through the grind of a 6-month, 162-game season.
David with men on base behind him, slowing the pace just a bit. He's up and away. You're right, he's been a little erratic by David Price standards here to the last couple hitters.
Well, we've been spoiled early in this game. David Price, well, and Jeremy Guthrie for that matter, have been locked in with their stuff and their command. But yeah, it's escaped David here the last couple of hitters. He's had more bad misses in the last few pitches than he's had the entire game.
And a fly ball headed into left center field off a breaking pitch, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Wieters will score. Hardy follows him. Over to third goes Roberts, and boy, the Rays between Damon and Upton had a time with that ball in left center field. Roberts goes all the way to third, and it's now a 3-0 game.
Now, we talked about David Price location kind of leaving him a little bit. This is a breaking ball that stays out over the plate. Brian Roberts gets it out into left center field. Johnny Damon, the ball gets by him. He slides to try to get the ball in quick and then flip the B.J. Upton. Well, you're lucky that Brian Roberts didn't come around to score on that.
So it'll be a 2-run triple. And here's Markakis. Markakis sends a fly ball into center. B.J.'s back to catch this one, with Roberts tagging and headed to third. So a sacrifice fly, and the Orioles suddenly have a big 3-run inning and a 4-0 lead. The triple by Roberts and the sacrifice fly by Markakis. They've accounted for all 4 runs. Markakis 2 runs batted in, and Roberts 2 on the triple.
And that's what you see with this Baltimore Oriole lineup that has been retooled. David Price, his location deserts him for a few hitters, and all of a sudden the Orioles are able to push this out to a 4-0 lead and do it quickly.
Well, he went with a curveball on 3-2 and hung it up there. Roberts hit it toward the gap. Now 1-2 to lead. Down to short. Renyak makes the pickup. That takes care of Baltimore, but the Orioles post 3, and it's 4-0 Baltimore. Four to nothing. Baltimore scored a run in the third. Base hit by Nick Markakis scored J.J. Hardy, and then in the fifth inning, 3 runs, 2 on Roberts' triple, and another one on a sacrifice fly by Markakis. And this the opening day. David Price and Jeremy Guthrie. And Dan Johnson, who's had the only hit for the Rays tonight, a double back in the second, leads off the home half of inning 5. And lofts a high fly ball, catchable for Markakis. 1 pitch, 1 out. He's going to get B.J. Upton to the plate. Just a reminder, be on the lookout for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment coming up later in tonight's game. The Taste Greatness moment. Here's B.J. 1 strike the count.
Well, the Rays offense needs to make a push here, try to put some pressure on Jeremy Guthrie, and you'd like to see them wait him out, try to make him work a little bit, but he's been so efficient with his pitches. You could see the Rays hitters being aggressive early in the count because he's around the plate. The problem with that approach is if he is able to throw quality first pitch strikes, you get a lot of easy early in the count outs.
I'm not sure there's any way you're going to hit that pitch.
No, that's a curveball that has tight overhand spin, and he's starting it on the inner third. You saw B.J. Upton spin out of there thinking that was a fastball that was middle in. And by the time it starts to break, it's too late.
2-2.
That curveball on the previous pitch, that's what B.J. thought it was.
Yeah, you start to jump on that pitch, and then it's nowhere to be seen. And he's out on strikes, and he just moved him over there and had that ball sliding away from him.
Well, some of the sequences that Jeremy Guthrie has thrown tonight, very impressive. He goes curveball, then the fastball up and in. Then he comes with the slider there, 85 miles an hour. You see B.J. trying to reach for that pitch, and it just disappears. He is on his game tonight.
One ball, no strikes. Two 2-0. pop fly, short left. Luke Scott. 1, 2, 3, go the Rays. We're through 5. 4-0 Baltimore. We flash back to the inaugural game in Rays history. That would be March 31st of '98. First pitch to Vladimir Guerrero is up and in, and he had to move to get out of the way of that one. He's already shaved once today, and that one was close enough to shave again. We'll get back to that flashback in a moment. You don't want to miss this one. Ground ball third up on Longoria, and recovers and makes the play. One away. We'll go back to March 31st in '98. It was 5:08 after the ribbon cutting ceremonies. Left-hander Wilson Alvarez went to the mound and faced Brian Hunter, the leadoff hitter for the Tigers. Missed for the pitch down and in, and that was the beginning of Major League Baseball in Tampa Bay. There's Adam Jones. 1 ball, no strikes. When you look at the 5th inning, when the Orioles scored 3 runs with 1 out, Wieters reached on that hot shot to Brignac. Managed to skip through for what turned out to be ruled a base hit, and then that walk to Hardy, and then Price struggled a bit with his command to Brian Roberts, and you know, if there was one pitch he would take back, it would be that 3-2 curveball.
Yeah, with a couple of runners on base there, David Price in a 3-2 count. He knows he's going to the curveball. He knows he struck him out with that same pitch the previous at bat, trying to throw it for a strike, and sometimes when you do that, it rolls in there. It's not very sharp, but it's hittable, and that's exactly what happened. He tried to flip that in there for a strike. It wasn't quality. Brian Roberts had already seen that sequence, and he jumped all over it.
It worked 3-2 curveball in the 3rd, but it didn't work 3-2 curveball in the 5th. One and 2 now to Adam Jones. And that fastball by him. Mid-90s fastball, and Jones chased it up. He did the same thing back in the 2nd on a 98-mile-per-hour fastball.
Now David Price continues to exploit that hole in Adam Jones' swing. That ball that's out over the plate and elevated. He's gotten him twice on it, like you said, Dwayne. Just can't lay off of it. Can't lay off, can't catch up. Bad combo for a hitter.
Not many good percentages in that.
No.
Luke Scott fouls one away. One strike. I mean, the Rays are going to have to score some runs for that to make any difference. But right now, if there's 1 point in this game where Price would like to take back, it would have to be that one.
He had about a 6 or 7 pitch span where he just didn't have his usual command, bad location. It started in the at-bat to J.J. Hardy. It carried over to Brian Roberts. It cost him 3 runs.
Started out a little wide. 1 and 2. They get a little movement on that fastball down in there. That one was wide. Headed to the shortstop. Brignac has it. Reach throw to first. 1, 2, 3. Rays will have Brignac, Jason Zobrist coming up, down by 4.
For the 6th inning, and while it's opening day for the Rays here tonight, it's opening day for your lawn. Visit your local Lowe's for savings and a free MLB fan guide. Compliments of Scott's.
Well, the Rays haven't done much against Guthrie so far tonight. A double in the second by Dan Johnson. And here's Reed Brignac. Pop foul out of play. That's a strike. Johnson doubled with 1 out in the 2nd inning, and nothing for the Rays since then. 11 in a row retired by Guthrie. And a popper. Hardy out from shortstop. That's a dozen straight. Guthrie had made a couple opening day starts before, 3rd time around for him, and second half of last year, and what we've seen tonight is a little more like what the Indians expected out of him when they made him a 1st-round pick in 2002. But it just didn't work with the Indians, and in fact the Orioles picked him up on a waiver claim. That was in January of 07. Look at that breaking ball.
And he just continues to be able to use all of his pitches to all the locations. A first pitch fastball strike and then drops a curveball back door. What are you going to do about that?
It's a ball and 2 strikes.
I think he did that, threw that fastball just for fun.
look at that.
Wow.
Drops another one in there. And Jaso is out on strikes.
Well, the previous fastball was way too high, but the thinking is you throw the fastball up and away. If they swing at it, great. If they don't, you follow it up with the backdoor hook and hope he gives up on it, which is exactly what John Jaso did, and he picks up the strikeout. The hitter sees that tight spin off the plate away. They give up on it.
Ben Zobrist, base hit into right. On the first pitch, Zobrist singles, picking up a base hit with 2 outs. And that snaps the streak. 13 in a row retired by Guthrie between the double by Johnson in the second and the single by Zobrist in the 6th.
Now that's just mislocation. Jeremy Guthrie trying to go down and away. That ball right out over the middle. Ben Zobrist just plays pepper with the right fielder.
Johnny Damon takes it too high. The Rays try to get something going with 2 outs. One and one. Couple fly balls off the bat of Damon so far tonight. And down to first, but right to Lee, who scoops it with that big mitt. The Rays are finished. They leave a man. Through 6, 4-0 Baltimore.
Baltimore as we head into the 7th inning. Johnny Damon from Orlando, Dr. Phillips High School, and he has organized, guys, bus trips this season. He's right here in left field. We're out here in left field. We have all these fans here from Orlando. They all gathered at 4 o'clock today. They're wearing the 22 Prove It shirts. Prove it is what Manny Ramirez has been saying all spring. So all this group, a bus full from Orlando, they're going to be here for other games as well. Here's a ball set in the air into right field. Coming on is Matt Choice. He makes the play for the first out of the inning. And guys, we have a star-studded crew here too. Not only are they friends and family members of Johnny Damon, but there's some members of the band Creed who are big friends and fans of Johnny Damon as well. So Orlando representing and Dr. Phillips representing out here. Johnny Damon, guys, back to you.
Friend and fan of Johnny Damon anyway.
Hard not to be.
Here's Matt Wieters. I did a little sit down with him in the spring, and after about 10 minutes of this interview with him for the preseason show, We did, and I said, well, it's been good to spend this time with you, and I'm looking forward to when the season starts, and we'll get a chance to see you on an everyday basis. And he said, you're the only guy who said that he's looking forward to seeing me on an everyday basis.
I thought you were going to say at the end of the interview that he stuck his hand out for a nice handshake and you gave him a hug.
2-0 the count. Wieters, Hardy, and then Roberts here in the 7th inning with David Price on the hill. Reynolds has gone out to right. 2-1 the count to Wieters. He's checking there's some action in the Rays bullpen. And a fly ball back into center. BJ just not get to the track, makes the catch. Wieters is out of there. Jake McGee is loosening in the Rays bullpen.
Number 2, J.J. Hardy.
You figure that David Price is starting to close in on the end of his night. Had 92 pitches through 6 innings. He's just 1 out away from finishing off here in the 7th. You just wonder if Joe Madden will go any longer with his ace.
A strike to Hardy. Hardy's been on twice with a double and a walk and has scored 2 runs. Upstairs. 1-1. This will be his 100th pitch of the night coming up. And it's high. 2 balls and a strike. We just missed on that one. 3-1.
He's trying to make perfect pitches here to J.J. Hardy.
You know, before Wieters hit the fly ball to center, the 8 and 9 hitters combined had been on base 3 out of 4 times and had scored 3 of the 4 runs. 8 and 9 hitters.
Well, that just shows you how dangerous this Oriole lineup has become with the offseason acquisitions. You don't expect the 8 and 9 hole to be productive. It's become a very deep lineup. Production.
And it's popped into shallow center. Zobrist out from second base making the call, and BJ runs him off. Upton makes the catch. 1-2-3, 7th inning stretch time, 4-0 Baltimore.
It's a great thing to have Manny behind me. I mean, just the name itself, you know, the name recognition within baseball of Manny Ramirez is unbelievable. So I'm excited. I mean, you know, when I heard that we signed him in the offseason, it was definitely a breath of fresh air for me. You know, so I definitely think I'm going to see better pitches throughout the course of the year.
Evan Longoria with tonight's quote of the game, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% more on car insurance. Evan will lead it off, followed by Manny, and then Dan Johnson First pitch and a high pop foul that's going to wind up out of play. Strike one. Well, Evan, for just a moment there, thought he might have had a pitch that he could hit out of here.
Well, I think he realizes, too, being down 4-0 here in the bottom of the 7th inning, making their way through the middle of the lineup. It is time for some action. Got to make a push here.
Well, it's the middle of the order. The Rays are down by 4. Line drive, but it's going to be caught by Roberts at second. One away. Evan 0 for 3 tonight. Rays have just the 2 hits. And here is Manny Ramirez. Strike one. Guthrie has 2 complete games in 122 prior starts. And to this point, his pitch count is very, very good. He had made 71 pitches through 6. This is his 5th pitch of this inning. Chopped toward the middle. Hardy gloves, turns and throws, and Manny is out by half step at first. So Ramirez out on a nice play by Hardy going up the middle.
Well, so much of this game has been about Jeremy Guthrie, his stuff, his location. How about getting a little help from the defense there? Chopper up the middle, over the head of Jeremy Guthrie. J.J. Hardy going deep. The turn, the no-look throw, and he gets enough on it to get Manny by half a step. What a play going out shallow center field.
And Johnson up here, and he takes the pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. That's a strike. 1-1. A liner, 1 hop. Roberts from second. And it's a quick 1-2-3 7th for Guthrie. We're headed into the 8th, and it's still 4-0. Checkers Feast On. AutoWay is part of Auto Nation, the largest automotive retailer in the country, so we can do big things. And by McDonald's Angus 3rd Pounder. I'm loving it. From Tropicana Field, a full house tonight, 34,078, 34078. Hoping for some late inning heroics by the Rays And as we go to the 8th inning, David Price is out of the game after 103 pitches in 7 innings, and Jake McGee comes on.
Jake McGee, you see what he did in limited duty last year, appeared in 8 games. A good ERA really every outing except for the very first one where he had the 3 walks. Pitched very well. He's got a big fastball. Continuing to work on that slider to try to make that a nice complementary pitch.
He'll face the top side of the order. Here's Brian Roberts lifting a fly ball to center off a fastball, and BJ is there to catch it. 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, there was some talk about McGee not breaking camp with the club. As you point out, he has that big fastball, and they wanted him to work this spring, and there was some talk about maybe going to Durham to continue to work on developing that secondary pitch, because there's really a legitimate feeling that somewhere along the line this young man could develop into the closer.
And that's because of his temperament, his on the mound demeanor.
Pitch to Markakis is a strike.
Between Joe Madden and Jim Hickey and the rest of the staff, they must have felt that enough progress had been made with that pitch to have him up here, because if you're a one-trick pony coming out of the bullpen, it's not going to take too long for hitters to get wise to that and start wearing you out.
And it's an interesting situation there with a talent like McGee. It's fouled away, and part of that had to do with whether the Rays could make it a late spring deal or not for more pitching. That factored into it. And the other side is, if you're going to have him here and he's going to take big league time off of that clock that's running, right, you want him to be able to be effective. It's only common sense to do that.
Yes.
Away, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and you're absolutely right on when it comes to his makeup. It's not everybody who can get 3 outs in the 9th inning, and he shows signs of being the guy who could do that. But you want him to be completely prepared to do that. Down to second. Zobrist in front of it, makes that play. 2 gone. That's the other thing. If he's not prepared and he struggles, well, that's a whole other issue. What does that do to the psyche and the makeup and all of that?
That's what you worry about with a young pitcher.
Well, Derek Lee is due up, a right-handed bat. Joe Madden's going to play matchup here with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 8th. It's a Metro PCS call to the bullpen. Wireless for all. Over in the Rays dugout there. See the Toyota trend. The Rays hoping to get off to another quick start. It worked well in 08 and again in 2010. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on amazing lineups of Toyota vehicles. Toyota moving forward. Adam Russell, the right-hander, facing Derek Lee, and he gets the first pitch strike. Russell truly a big right-hander. And struggled in the spring. And late in the spring, made a couple mechanical adjustments, tried to improve the slider.
Well, sometimes a pitcher like Adam Russell, who's 6'8", takes a little while to get everything in good rhythm. He came over in the trade that sent Jason Bartlett to the San Diego Padres, and the Rays have high hopes for Adam Russell. Still working on that arm strength, and like you said, Dwayne, trying to get that slider to have a little bit more bite, tighter spin.
1-2. And that fastball up and in. That fastball at 96, and that's one of the things the Rays like about so many members of this new bullpen. Good arm strength, command is going to be the challenge. Right side and a diving stop. Zobrist, a nice play, stretching out to get Lee and retiring the side. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Rays bats are looking for a little pop, down 4-0. Doing more on defense for Home Depot, and here's a look.
Well, Ben Zobrist having to range wide to his left, comes up with it cleanly, good throw. We gotta love that. Dwayne, you talked early in the ball game about how important defense is going to be for the Rays. Ben Zobrist, who's going to see time at second base and in the outfield, comes up with a gem there.
Well, let's see if the Rays can figure out Guthrie. BJ on the first pitch, hits it deep to center field, and it's going to be off the bottom of the wall. Extra bases for Upton in at second with a stand-up double. Well, there's some of that pop we talked about when we went to break. The Rays looking to make some noise against Guthrie, who has been so good tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what else, too. That shows B.J. Upton paying attention. That was a pitch that Jeremy Guthrie has thrown him numerous times tonight. This one, B.J. stays right on that pitch. Head down. B.J. long, lanky, and strong, and if he gets extension, he can drive the ball a long way. He gets it over the head of Adam Jones there. Puts the Rays in good position with a leadoff double.
Well, Guthrie's made 80 pitches now. He's had only one 3-ball count all night. He went 3-2 to Manny back in the second inning. Matt Joyce takes the pitch up, 1-0. Two complete games in his career, and one of them was an 8-inning loss. The other one was a 4-hitter against Seattle. A ball and a strike. And for the first time tonight, as you see the pitch count break out, bullpen action in the Orioles pen. Jones takes care of the fly ball, and Matt Joyce is out number 1. Jim Johnson, the right-hander. loosening for Baltimore. He had some physical issues last year, but he's got a pretty good arm out of their bullpen. Well, let's see what Reed Brignac can do. Reed is struck out, hit a little popper to short. One ball, no strikes. Upton at second, picking up the third hit of the night off Guthrie. And a strike on the edge. Still changing speeds.
Something that he's done very effectively all night long. Shown a good changeup. That one looked like a generous strike call. And he gets it.
Outside. 2 balls and a strike. That was generally the same location, it seemed.
Yeah, and you can see too what he's trying to do with Reed Brignac is to get him to reach. Reed got good power to right field on balls middle of the plate in.
A foul the other way out of play.
He has a tendency to have a little bit longer of a swing, especially when the pitches are down and away from him. And that's where you see Jeremy Guthrie trying to go, to get Reed to reach out there and catch something off the end of the bat.
That's where all the percentage is if you're a pitcher.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, and boy, you remember the old days at the Atlanta Braves, they just run the guys one after the other out there, just own down and away from hitters.
Reed with a piece of that one to keep the bat going. So the count holds even. Upton in scoring position. Only the second time tonight the Rays have had a man at second base. Dan Johnson doubled with 1 out in the second. He was left there. Upton a leadoff double in the 8th. And the pitch away. So it's a full count. Brignac has battled through this at bat. He had that one called strike that might have been a little wide, but he's managed to run the count full now. Only the second time tonight there's been a 3-ball count on a Rays hitter. Bounces this one foul.
Now, Jeremy Guthrie showed you right there with that pitch what he feels about his changeup and the command of it tonight. Full count. That was the right pitch, location not exactly where he wanted it, and Reed was able to spoil it.
And a nice at bat. Brignac draws the walk. First walk drawn by a Rays hitter tonight.
Now be a part of all the fun and excitement of Rays baseball this season with your family, friends, and coworkers. 2011 group party areas and suites are available now, so reserve your exclusive area today by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com.
First time tonight the Rays have had more than 1 runner aboard in any 1 inning. And as far as that's concerned, the Orioles have done that only once. That was in the 5th when they scored 3.
Well, that was a really good at bat there by Reed Brignac, fouling off that tough 3-2 changeup.
And now Upton is caught between second and third. He started a little early. They've got him in the rundown, and Wieters, the catcher, will get him. And they're saying that Upton is out and maybe left the baseline to avoid the tag. He's called out by Scott Berry. Brignac winds up at second. And BJ's out. He started a little early, and that enabled Guthrie to turn and start the rundown. Here it is.
Well, he tried to get a head start, time it up. They were able to get him on the inside move, but just superior speed. I think J.J. Hardy, when you see his reaction right there, thought he was going to get called for interference.
I think that's exactly, and I think the umpires are going to get together and talk it over.
Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, and B.J. Upton was not out of the baseline, was not tagged, not out of the baseline, and you could see the reaction from J.J. Hardy. He knows.
Now, John Hirschbeck is over to get in on this conversation between Madden and Barry. And he had talked with Laz Diaz. But it doesn't appear that Diaz helped the Rays cause any. But here's the overhead shot, Brian.
Yeah, well, right here, that is not out of the baseline. J.J. Hardy clearly, it's behind him, comes into his back. Now, where he lands may have been considered out of the baseline, but when the contact with Hardy happened, he was not out of the baseline, and that's where, yeah, if you're not going to be able to make the call down there at third base, Scott Barry, you need some help from Laz Diaz, and he gave him nothing.
Well, Madden continues to make his case to Hirschbeck, but if the Rays were to get anything out of this, it most likely would have been from Laz Diaz in terms of maybe overruling the original call, and they're not going to get it from him.
No, John Hirschbeck being behind the plate, he doesn't have the perspective as those other two looking down the line.
So 2 outs in the inning. Boy, that hurts.
Well, it hurts because it was a bad call.
Yep. And now Grignac's at second with Jaso stepping in. A little tap third base side, kicking foul, strike one. And you're right on the reaction of Hardy, as opposed to trying to sell it when you do something wrong and you think, well, I'm going to sell it that I've done nothing wrong. Hardy couldn't wait to confess.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you hear the phrase, the hitter will let you know when he gets a hold of one? Well, right there, J.J. Hardy, not an attempt to sell it because he knew, I screwed up and I'm going to get called for interference.
Yeah, and Hardy might have confessed to crimes he didn't commit with that kind of act. I mean, there were other things that he might have been able or willing to admit to beyond that if they just had a chance to continue the cross-examination.
You remember, too, that all started with B.J. Upton getting picked off at second base. He was trying to time up Jeremy Guthrie in his rhythm and times to the plate, and they were able to catch him moving early.
And Jaso, it's a looper into shallow left, but high enough for Scott to get there and make the catch, and the Rays do not score. We go to the ninth, 4-0 Baltimore. Ball game here, so the Rays have one shot left. Just a reminder now to stay with us. The post-game show coming up following this one and we have some new faces as part of that show. Let's check in with Laura McKeeman now. She's going to be part of that this year. Laura?
Well, you know, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys up there, and Dwayne and Brian up there in the booth. So if you want to see more of Dwayne and Brian, stay tuned for this post-game show, Rays Live post-game show. I'll be checking in with some players in the locker room, and then we'll have Todd Callis holding down the fort, hosting the whole shebang. So it's definitely going to be good stuff. You got to check it out. All
right, Laura, thank you. And I'm not so sure that they'll be hanging around to see Brian and me. High pop-up foul. And Guerrero is out. That ball caught by Johnson. One away.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath on that one.
No, with that with that extravaganza that Todd Callis will lead. Adam Russell got the last out in the 8th. He's gotten the first out here in the 9th, getting Guerrero. Here's Adam Jones. Pitch wide. A ball, no strikes. The Rays tonight hoping for some 9th inning heroics. That's foul outside of third. 1-1 to count. Guthrie has been so good for Baltimore tonight. Jones lifts the fly ball into left. Johnny Damon with a lot of room out there. 2 gone. Don't forget the Mosaic Company and the Rays work together in the fight to end hunger through home runs for food again this year. With each Rays home run, the Mosaic Company donates $500 to local food banks through Feeding America Tampa Bay, Florida's leading hunger relief agency. Joe Madden to make a pitching change. We'll be right back.
Put yourself to the ultimate test at TampaBay.com/FanDuel for your chance to win real money with your sports knowledge. Play today and win today at TampaBay.com/FanDuel. That's TampaBay.com/FANDUEL.
Well, Joe Madden wants the lefty Ramos here to match up against Luke Scott. And the first pitch, soft breaking ball, is a strike. Scott 0 for 3 tonight.
One thing I like what Joe Madden is doing with the Rays down right now, not able to muster any offense. He is getting the youngsters in the game, get the jitters out of the way, get them a chance to pitch and get ready for upcoming games.
Brignac trying to settle under this one, and that takes care of Baltimore. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Rays need 4 to keep it going, 5 to win, down 4-0. Home game, and Rays pitchers post 10 strikeouts. Take your ticket stub to any Cane's Furniture store. Get a coupon for a free Papa John's pizza. Plus, sign up at Cane's Furniture for a chance to meet one of your favorite Rays players. Cane's, quality so good it's guaranteed for life. We go to the bottom of the ninth, and Jim Johnson will take over. Guthrie, 8 very good innings for Baltimore. And here's Ben Zobrist swinging at the first pitch, hitting it high and deep. Gone! Home run for Ben Zobrist. Zobrist jumps on the first pitch, and the Rays are on the board. Well, they're looking for some ninth inning heroics. Well, that last could be a start.
I was just about to say, Dwayne, the best news for the Rays was Jeremy Guthrie being out of the game. It didn't take Ben Zobrist long. How about that? Belt high, right down the middle. See you later.
Pitch inside to Johnny Damon. I mean, Guthrie was spot on. No runs, 3 hits. 1-1 to count to Damon. And Ben Zobrist, who had 4 home runs this spring, hits one to get the Rays on the board. That's a ball. 2-1. Guthrie had only pitched more than 8 innings 3 times in his career. And that's part of the thinking. But boy, was he in command. It's 2-2 now.
Yeah, it's tough to bring him out of that game. I'll bet you there was an interesting discussion down there in that dugout. Jeremy Guthrie was locked in, dealing. Pitch count was very manageable.
And Damon is out on strike, swinging over that off-speed pitch. First out here in the 9th inning. Come out for this season's first Family Fun Day, presented by the St. Petersburg Times this Sunday when the Rays take on the Orioles. And the first 10,000 kids 14 and under receive the American League East Championship mini banner presented by Sweet Bay Supermarket. Visit racebaseball.com to get your tickets right now. Here's Evan Longoria. He takes the first pitch strike. 6 strikeouts for Guthrie. He walked only 1, gave up no runs, 3 hits, made 94 pitches, giving way to Johnson. Breaking ball there. Bounce foul. Rays down to their final 2 outs. Facing Johnson. And a foul ball again. You know, at one point we mentioned Guthrie had retired 13 in a row. Well, Rays pitching right now has a streak of 14 in a row. 6 of those by the bullpen. Longoria got a piece of that one to stay alive. That pitch had a little late break on it.
Well, Jim Johnson going for the strikeout. That was the off-speed changeup split finger. He got Evan Reacham. He was able to foul it off and live to fight another day.
One ball, 2 strikes. Tell you, this is a battle here. I mean, Evan down 1 and 2.
And that was not a very aggressive swing by Evan Longoria. Wasn't sure what was coming, just trying to foul that pitch off. Kind of feeling for it out there. It wasn't a true rip.
And a foul tip held on by Wieters for the strikeout.
Oh, that's that off-speed pitch, around 6, 7, 8 miles an hour slower than the fastball. It's got good downward action. Looks just like a fastball coming up. A little changeup. You see Evan, but you're down on the count 1 and 2. You've got to protect. By the time you commit to that swing, that ball starts to bottom out. There's not much you can do.
Manny Ramirez in the batter's box, and he chops it to short. Hardy with the throw to first, and this game is over. The Rays score 1 in the 9th and fall short, dropping the first game of the year to the Baltimore Orioles 4-1. The run of the 9th came on the home run by Ben Zobrist, and so the Baltimore Orioles defeat the Rays tonight 4-1. We'll be back to wrap it in a moment.